Curious what you need to check on your furnace and what you need to do to prep it? Then stick around as I get into that in the question of the day. What's going on, guys? Matt Johnson, Keller Williams Realty. You are tuned in to the Hot List. I come to y'all Monday through Friday, each and every week around 12 o'clock Central Standard Time. We hang out and talk real estate. We talk properties new to the market with recent price reductions or something unique about the property that I want to share with y'all and makes it stand out from something else. I also answer a question of the day that is submitted by a listener of the show. And to find out how you can get your question on air, all you got to do is just stick around with me a little bit longer. And finally, I recognize and thank a sponsor of the week each and every week. If you would like more information on potentially being a sponsor of the week, all you got to do is just hang out with me till the end. So as you guys are coming in here on Facebook, make sure you comment hashtag live or hashtag replay so I know how you are watching this. For my YouTubers out there, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for your love, your support. Smash that thumbs up button, help a brother out. Subscribe to the channel as well as turn on those bell notifications so as I bring new videos like this one, you guys can come in here and check them out. And if you're listening to this, whether it's on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you're listening to this, thank you. Don't forget to leave me a review. That helps me out. That helps other people find the show as well, and they can get some questions answered or reach out to me for their real estate resource. The property we are talking about today is 930 Lawrence Street. That is right here in Emporia. This is a 3-bed, 2-bath house. Does have a detached single-car garage, 1,488 square feet of finished space, currently listed for $159,900, courtesy of Eck Real Estate. This is a 1.5-story home, does have a full unfinished basement. What is cool about this house, it has the original hardwood flooring, and they just recently refinished it, so it definitely stands tall and looks very cool as well. On top of that, they've updated the kitchen, new flooring in other parts of the house, sheetrock, knocked down ceiling, updated the HVAC system, recently has a new roof, as well as new water lines and drains. All very important things that you definitely want to make sure that you take a look at. So all you got to do is just click on the link in the description. It's going to take you right to my website so you can check out the pictures and the property for yourself. If you have any questions about the property or you're already pre-approved, want to set up an appointment, schedule an appointment to go look at it, all you got to do, reach out to me either through Facebook or through my website, and we'll get that done. Before I get on to the question of the day, I do want to recognize and thank our sponsor of the week this week, and that is Kofelt Sign Company. Kofelt Signs has been around for quite a while. They are actually second generation owned, going on 70 years in the business, and offer a number of not only sign production but services as well. So like I mentioned earlier this week, they do not only do the graphic design part, but they do the fabrication and installation. They deal not only with illuminated signs, but they do the awnings, and they do highway signs and message boards as well. So definitely check out Kofelt Sign Company right here in Emporia. You can either check out their website by clicking the link in the description, and it'll take you right there, so you can either contact them through phone or email that way. Definitely worth getting a hold of them and seeing what they can do. And if nothing else, go to their gallery on their website and just take a look. If you're hesitant about, what they can do, what they offer, just by going to the gallery, you will be able to see the type of signage that they do and that they're capable of, and that will entice you to call them for their service. So I just want to thank Kofelt Sign Company for being this week's sponsor of the week. If you are a small business or small business owner, curious on how you could become a sponsor of the week, all you have to do is just reach out to me wherever you're listening to this, we will have a quick conversation to see if you are a good fit for being a sponsor of the week for the hot list. I'm happy to have that conversation with you. And if you are, we can move forward with it. If you're not, you know what? We would just part ways, still friends. All right. And now, my favorite part of the show, the question of the day. And the question of today is, what do I need to do to check my furnace? And hopefully by now, you guys have your furnace on. I know we definitely have ours on. I talked about on Monday prepping for the winter, and because of that, I had someone uh, ask the question, what do they do or what do they look for with the furnace? And that's what I love about the show and what I do, because by people asking certain questions and me answering those, covering those topics, those lead to more questions, which not only helps me, helps everybody watching and listening, and it just comes full circle. So I absolutely love that. We all know that winter is coming, of course, depending on where you live. Uh, this morning when I went to the gym, it was 25 degrees here in Kansas, so it's a little cooler temperature. Gets darker quicker, and the leaves just aren't hanging on them trees quite like they were just even a month ago. It is kind of sad, but we all know that's part of the cycle that we're in. It happens each year, and soon we're going to be hit with snow, sleet, and ice, which is why it's better to have your furnace prepped now before all that happens. So again, you don't want to wait till the last minute, and hopefully, again, everybody that's listening to this already has their heater on if needed. Like I said, when I went to the gym this morning, a little before 5 o'clock, it was 25 degrees. It was definitely chilly out. So what we're going to talk about today, 3 things to know when checking your furnace. So first, we're going to cover a few furnace basics. There's lots of different ways to heat a house. In this video, we are going to focus only on the furnace. The furnace itself is a complex unit, not only containing a heat source, but it also contains a blower to help distribute that heat through your ductwork and duct system. The furnace is part of the larger HVAC system in general, and usually this includes an AC unit or a heat pump, depending on what you have. Now, usually you will see your furnace mounted in your basement, like mine is, crawl spaces. I've seen them in attics, and I sold a house just a month ago that actually had the furnace in the garage. There is some basic furnace maintenance that's recommended no matter what season that we're in. For example, changing the filter. This is something we've talked about before. I change mine at least twice a year. I check it every 3 months. Usually change it every 5 or 6 months, just depending. Now, if you have an electrostatic filter, it's not so much changing it at that point as it is just cleaning it. Just default to the manufacturer's cleaning method, whatever it is, because they're all a little bit different. I would also recommend, and I unfortunately learned this the hard way because I forgot to do it earlier this year, flushing the condensation line. Yes, even in the wintertime. This happened to me about 2 months ago. Couldn't figure out what was going on. There was just water everywhere. Well, I forgot to flush my condensation line earlier this year. It got plugged up from some of the debris. So I had water every year. So even during the wintertime, make sure you check it, flush it regularly. That way you don't have water and condensation going everywhere and your wife freaking out. Just saying. Second thing we're going to talk about is getting ready for the wintertime itself. So now we're going to get into more of the winter related topics. I would recommend having a furnace pre-launch checklist. Yes, I say pre-launch because I have this. Many of you guys know, as a veteran, I make lists. Have I have lists that I check off and reference to because uh, it's everything is just kind of like a small mission, small prep work. That's all it is. And even if you already have had your furnace on or recently kicked it on, it's not too late. Make sure that you have the checklist because you know you do this once a year and you may not remember each time how to do it. So by having that list that you can reference just makes it a little bit simpler. Other items like your thermostat. I know that sounds crazy because it's very likely that you use your thermostat year round. If not, check your thermostat, make sure that your furnace comes on and off with the wall control. That's kind of important. And depending on the age of your thermostat, I would recommend looking at updating it to a programmable one or a smart thermostat. Programmable ones are nice because certain times of the day you can have it kick on to different temperatures. For example, before I started working full time from home for real estate, I would have my furnace turned down from 68 degrees down to 64 degrees at about 8:30 because everybody was gone. And then at 3:30, which is when the kids got out of school, it would kick back on and go up to 68. And that way, when there's nobody here, there's no point in having it at 68 like we normally have. We would just have it at 64. So that's the advantage of the programmable. And of course, you guys know with the smart thermostats, there's so much more you can do because they're intuitive, they help you learn, and they can help you save fuel or electricity depending on the type of furnace that you have. Then we also have the pilot light. If you have a older gas or propane furnace, you may have a standing flame pilot light. And this is exactly what it sounds like. Yes, that's right. You have a fire in your house all the time. So what you want to do before switching on the furnace, make sure that pilot light is lit. Otherwise, you're going to be cold because it's going to blow out cold air, maybe even have some gas filling up through the house too. So just be careful. With newer furnaces, these are a little bit simpler because it's an electronic igniter and this lights the furnace automatically when it's kicked on. If you're not getting heat from your furnace or from your vents when you kick it on, follow the instructions on your furnace on how to reset it. If it's still not working after that, reset the breaker, check the breaker. Still not working, maybe it's time to call in a professional and have them take a look at it. And then finally, the other thing to check is detectors. I actually just checked these over the weekend. Whether it's a smoke detector, CO2 detector, these need to be checked and maintained as well. Definitely before firing up your furnace, they have test buttons on them for a reason. If you didn't know they had test buttons, you're welcome. They have test buttons. Check them out. Whether you have them hardwired in or whether they have batteries, if they're not going off, check the batteries or check the wire connection that is underneath the detector. If the detector fails, doesn't go off, even after replacing the batteries, checking the connection, replace that thing immediately and get rid of it. And finally, number 3 on the list today is knowing when to call in a professional. Like I mentioned with the pilot light, if it doesn't come on or something is not working despite your best methods, your Google or YouTube skills, and whatever you want to call them, I would recommend at this time, it's time to call in a professional. And while they're there, have them check the air handler, if you have one, flame sensors or other vital parts of the furnace. They're already there. Just have them check other parts like these, and that's gonna go a long way. For my do-it-yourselfers, you might be able to do this with very, very little effort. I'm not one of those people. For others of us, like I said, you guys can do that. People like me, not so much, which is why we are better off to call somebody that knows what they're doing than try to figure it out and, you know, find something comparable on YouTube that's not working, not directly related, or not even close to what the unit we have is. So at that point, I would just recommend calling in a professional. They do this every day. They know what they're doing. This is what they do. They can get you set up and taken care of. So that is going to do it for me. So let's run through these real quick for the 3 things you need to know. Again, number 1 was the furnace basics, which is just different parts of the furnace. Heats, it has the, use it as the heat source, blower that heats through the ductwork, and is generally part of the larger HVAC system, which will have an air conditioner or a heat pump. Prepping for winter, you want to make sure that you have a pre-launch checklist, just some things that you may not think of or need to double check, like your thermostat, pilot light, or detectors. And then finally, if you can't get your furnace to kick on, you can't get that pilot light to stay on, can't get it lit, something, you're just not getting power to it, whatever the case may be, now's the time to call in a professional. They do this every single day. They know what they're doing. Get them in there and get them in there sooner rather than later, so you are not all huddled up in blankets. You're nice, comfy, and warm in your home. That's the most important thing. So thank you guys for watching the hot list. I greatly appreciate you tuning in with me. And again, my name is Matt Johnson with Keller Williams Realty. I do this because your experience matters and should be trusted with a veteran. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you back in here tomorrow.